Welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs and Fuego. We're documenting the journey of incredible entrepreneurs and also some incredible artists. How you doing, John?
Very well, thank you for having me.
John Oyzon.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
Doing pretty well. Very, very well. I can't complain.
Good. And you can't complain because you are you a Buddhist or do you practice Buddhism?
Oh, I'm a Buddhist who practices Buddhism as best I can. I'm failing constantly. So, yeah, I'm a Buddhist who practices Buddhism, yeah.
And you say you're failing constantly? Why?
Yeah, well, I guess it's a practice. They call it a practice.
Sure.
It's not a perfect. So it's if you're lucky enough, you know that saying that God gives you what He thinks you can handle, and then there's the caveat. I wish He didn't have such a high opinion of me. I'm getting more and more challenges. I studied Buddhism for it's going on 20 years now, but recently I have a 2-year-old daughter. Yep. And a wife, second wife, and it's amazing. It's the challenges that are coming up, the mountains of responsibility that I have now is bringing up all kinds of interesting things about me. There's Buddhist theory, right, which I'm very well schooled in, and I'm proud to show. And I've been teaching for years. Okay. But then when the mental afflictions arise and the pokers get stuck to you, then you find out where your practice is. So, for instance, I didn't think I had a problem with anger. But I've been kicking things and punching things, and it's great. It's fantastic. So my practice. So that's why I say I'm failing constantly. My practice is failing, and that's good because you walk around, and if you walk around and you don't ever get near a flame, right, then you're liable to think you're inflammable. And it's not true.
That's a very, very, very interesting point of view. And in fact, I think the essence of Buddhism, as practiced by over 300 million people in the world, has been around for over 2,500 years. Yeah. And it's the finding the purpose of life. I mean, what is that purpose? So if you continue failing, you're finding what the purpose is. Yeah. And we can get all philosophical about that. But let me talk about your journey as an artist. And you started as a dancer way back in the day. Yeah.
I studied. Interesting thing. I started out in college, in university, yep, as an electrical engineer because I was in the backwaters of upstate New York, and they didn't have a lot of arts in the schools, so I was doing very well in math and sciences. So, you're going to go into the math and sciences. I got to university, found my way into a dance class, wow, and then I was like, this is it. It went from there's the black and white of A plus B equals C. That's correct, and that's not incorrect. Right. And then you jump to the other side of your brain where everything is wonderful shades of grays and in betweens. So then I switched into dance, and then that's where I started my.
And it is interesting, right? Because artists see the world in an entirely different way.
Yeah.
And so from being a dancer, what happens next? You do what?
Well, I dropped my physics class, I dropped my calculus class, yes, and then I took up partnering, jazz, and modern, and then I broke my knee.
You went full art then?
Yeah, full art, and then so I broke my knee. I went home and did a community show. I broke my knee, and then what am I going to do now? I just found the arts. So then I switched in. I added the theater program, and then studied stage acting. Stanislavski and Meisner, and then my knee got better, and then I just put the two programs together, and I created my own special major in stage acting and dance choreography.
I'm more of a Bertolt Brecht myself, but,
yeah,
but that's just a matter of choice, I suppose. And so you are working now here at Urban Wellness, and I think we're talking a little bit about your background as an artist and practicing Buddhism, because people would try to equate the fact that you practice Buddhism as being somebody that is so soothing, so relaxed, that never gets angry. But the first thing that you said was, look, I am failing. I am practicing these things, and I find myself that I have this anger and sometimes kicking things and everything else, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's everyday improvement. And what you're doing here at Urban Wellness, tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, Urban Wellness is, I was lucky enough to find my way into here. I know that Urban Yoga is a wonderful studio, beautiful studio that I was taking yoga at. And then I found out that they were making a wellness center. So, and I thought, well, I want to be a part of that. And I was doing, as a side, I was doing handyman construction gigs at the side. So I emailed Doug and I said, "Hi, I'm doing this construction gig. I want to get out of this. I want to do music, and I want to teach meditation, and I want to share Buddhism. I want to share philosophy." And then they emailed back. They said, "Great. We need a handyman." So I started doing handyman, and then, and ever since then I've just been helping Doug, serve his vision, and just whatever needs to be, whatever hat needs to be worn, and I've been doing it just to help bring wellness, alternative therapies, and points of view to people who need it.
Cool. And that would be Doug Edgelow, who is the owner of Urban Wellness.
Doug Edgelow, yes.
And so, is there a particular specialty that you have here that you teach folks?
On the Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7, I teach a meditation class, and it's music.
How hard is it to meditate? Yeah, my mind wanders. I start meditating.
You and me both, my man.
10 seconds into it, I'm like, did I leave the stove on?
Yeah, that's it.
Your mind just goes somewhere else.
It's impossible to stop the thoughts. So if you're going to sit down and meditate and you're going to try to empty your mind, and if that's your goal, it's not going to work. It's better to say, I'm going to focus my thoughts. I'm going to give my thoughts something. Your mind is like a dog. If you punish it for doing wrong, you shouldn't be thinking about. You're supposed to be thinking about your breath. Bad mind. Then your mind may eventually become obedient, but it'll be terrified and not free. But if you say, isn't it nice to focus on the breath? Isn't it nice to stop planning? Isn't it nice to stop working on the future and something that you can't affect in the moment anyway? Wow, look at your breath, and you notice, your breath is a little shallow, your breath is a little high. Then you think, it's nice. And then just the fact of noticing where your breath is, it naturally goes to a place where you want it to be. So it's not like you're trying not to do anything. You're just giving your mind something interesting to do. And in that way, you start becoming focused on something. So then you're habituating your mind to become focused on something. And we're just training ourselves in daily lives to be distracted. And Tibetan scripture says it's actually impossible for you to multitask. You can't do two things at once. You think you're multitasking.
You cannot.
You cannot.
Okay.
Your mind cannot. What you think you're doing is doing two things at once. What you're actually doing is doing two things poorly. You're flipping back and forth from one thing to the next. So that's interesting. I'm going to keep that in mind. Yeah, keep that in mind.
Because I thought that I was a multitasker, but I guess
yes. You're doing a lot of things at the same time, but you're splitting your focus. You're doing this and that and that and that. So
you're going from focus to focus to focus.
Yeah. So and then in that way, you're training your mind to be distracted. You're training your mind to hop from one subject to the other. So in meditation, or just try it. Say, well, at this time, I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes doing this task, and just see for yourself if it ends up that you do this task more efficiently with more of your being, then it might end up that the task gets completed faster, more efficiently, and with more love.
If it helps, this past 10 minutes, my focus and my task was right here with you.
Yes.
And you make me feel good, man. You're good, man. I mean, it's just you're very relaxed, and you're somebody that I would want to take a meditation class with, man.
Word.
I'm all just very focused right now.
Good. That's very good to hear.
You're good, man. All right, Johnny. With that, we're out.